Welcome back to our channel. Today, we explore the crazy life of Lea Thompson, a journey that takes us from the delicate stages of ballet in Rochester, Minnesota, to the electrifying world of Hollywood. Lea's story is not just about her rise to fame as Lorraine Baines McFly in Back to the Future, but also about the wild twists and unexpected turns that shaped her extraordinary path. Her life is a fascinating blend of passion, perseverance, and reinvention that continues to inspire millions. Join us on The Crazy Life of Lea Thompson as we dive deep into the untold adventures, personal challenges, and triumphant moments that make Lea Thompson's life truly one of a kind. Early life. Lea Catherine Thompson was born on May 31, 1961, in Rochester, Minnesota, and from a very young age, she showed an immense passion for ballet, starting her training at the age of 5 and quickly developing the poise and dedication required to dance professionally by the time she was just 14 years old. In fact, she followed in the footsteps of her older brother, Andrew, who was already taking ballet seriously, and her remarkable commitment led her to earn scholarships at prestigious institutions such as the San Francisco Ballet, Pennsylvania Ballet, and American Ballet Theatre schools, which is a testament to how intensely she pursued her craft in those formative years. During a summer break from the American Ballet Theatre School, she attended a workshop led by the distinguished Alexander Isliev, and when Isliev was invited to work with the Kirov Academy of Ballet in Washington, D.C., he specifically asked Thompson to join him as a principal dancer, further underscoring just how impressive her talent truly was at such a young age. By the time she was 20, she found herself dancing with the American Ballet Theatre's studio company, then known as ABT2, and this, on the surface, might have seemed like a dream come true for a young dancer intent on making a name for herself in one of the most competitive fields in the arts. However, it was during this time that Mikhail Baryshnikov, who served as the artistic director of the company and whose opinion carried enormous weight within the ballet community, told Thompson, "You're a lovely dancer, but you're too stocky." This critique, while brief, had a profound impact on her. She later called it her epiphany, the moment she realized that despite her passion and substantial abilities, she might never reach the pinnacle of the ballet world. Rather than spend years struggling against a physical ideal that she might never be able to satisfy, Lea bravely decided to walk away from ballet and explore a new path, a choice that was undoubtedly difficult yet ended up defining the rest of her professional journey. Interestingly, her brother Andrew continued in ballet, demonstrating that while the siblings shared a common foundation, they would not remain on identical tracks in the long run. Instead of persisting in a field that no longer seemed to fit her aspirations, Lea shifted her focus entirely to acting, proving her versatility by dedicating herself to a completely different creative discipline. She attended Rochester Area Academy for 2 years, then transferred to the University of Minnesota, where she completed a Bachelor of Arts degree in Theater Arts in 1983, further reinforcing her transition away from ballet into the realm of stage performance and, eventually, film and television. In that same year, at the age of 20, she decided it was time to make a bold move and relocated to New York City, determined to break into the competitive acting scene, a move that would lay the groundwork for her future as a recognizable face in Hollywood. Early in her acting career, she gained notice by appearing in a series of Burger King advertisements in the 1980s, commercials that also featured Sarah Michelle Gellar and Elizabeth Shue, the latter of whom would go on to co-star with Lea in Back to the Future Part 2 and Back to the Future Part 3, helping cement Thompson's status as a rising star. Now, while a great deal of attention often focuses on Lea's blossoming career and her dramatic pivot from ballet to film, it's also important to recognize the role that her family life in Minnesota played in shaping her artistic journey. Though details about her parents remain largely private, there is clear evidence that they were instrumental in creating a nurturing environment that supported both Lea and Andrew's creative inclinations from an early age. Given the commitment it takes to foster a serious ballet career, particularly starting around age 5 and continuing through adolescence, her parents would have had to allocate considerable resources, from paying for lessons and point shoes to helping with travel costs for auditions, workshops, and even out-of-state or international opportunities. It was that strong foundation and supportive atmosphere that not only allowed Lea to train intensively in ballet but also positioned her well for the eventual decision to transition to acting. In addition, having a sibling like Andrew, who continued with ballet even after Lea left, further underscores how central the performing arts were to the Thompson household, suggesting that dance was more than just an extracurricular activity, rather, it was an integral part of how the family bonded and expressed themselves creatively. The critical moment where Lea decided to step away from ballet altogether marks a pivotal contrast between her trajectory and that of her brother. While Andrew continued following his passion for ballet, Lea's epiphany sparked a transformation that her family once again chose to back, illustrating their openness to her shifting interests and ambitions. Rather than force her to remain in a domain where she felt limited by external judgments of her physical suitability, her family encouraged her leap of faith into theater studies, first at Rochester Area Academy and then at the University of Minnesota, where she earned her bachelor's degree in theater arts. The transition wasn't just academic, it was also geographic, as Lea packed up and moved to New York City at the age of 20, an intimidating move for anyone, but an especially bold one for someone coming from a tight-knit community in Minnesota. Yet, thanks to her family's consistent support and her own unwavering determination, Lea was able to navigate the challenges of early auditions, stage productions, and the competitive environment of commercial work, eventually landing that series of Burger King spots which helped her stand out to casting directors. From that point on, her ascent in film and television would soon follow, culminating in iconic roles that left a lasting impression on pop culture, not least of which was her portrayal of Lorraine Baines in the Back to the Future trilogy. If we look closely, the narrative of Lea Thompson's life up to this juncture highlights a powerful lesson in adaptability and resilience. Born into a family that not only recognized but also championed her artistic potential, Lea embraced ballet at a young age and excelled in a sphere where many talented individuals never reach the professional stage. The fact that she danced professionally by the age of 14 and secured scholarships at multiple renowned ballet schools speaks volumes about her commitment. Yet, facing a personal crossroads after Baryshnikov's blunt critique, she displayed the courage to pivot toward an entirely new dream. That willingness to redefine her path wouldn't have been as feasible without the unwavering support of a family that valued her growth over a rigid adherence to any single pursuit. In many ways, Andrew and Lea's diverging paths each reflect different facets of a shared familial ethos. Andrew continued in ballet, a testament to the family's strong dance tradition, while Lea took that same discipline and drive and channeled it into acting, ultimately discovering her own unique form of expression in front of the camera. All the while, her parents stayed relatively out of the limelight, choosing a level of privacy that only underscores how their primary focus seems to have been on their children's personal and artistic development rather than any quest for public recognition themselves. By examining Lea's shift from ballet to acting and considering the structural support that enabled such a move, we gain insight into how she would later handle the rigors of Hollywood. The early discipline she learned in ballet, rehearsing day in and day out, pushing through physical and mental exhaustion, likely became invaluable as she pursued auditions and took on challenging roles. Meanwhile, the strong backing she had at home probably gave her the confidence to take risks, whether that meant leaving a ballet scholarship behind or stepping in front of a camera for the first time. As she once mentioned, the moment with Baryshnikov was indeed an epiphany, but epiphanies are often meaningless without the right environment to help you act on them. In this sense, Lea's family, particularly in Minnesota, effectively laid the groundwork for her to succeed by providing both the resources and the freedom to evolve her aspirations as she grew older and discovered new passions. In the grand scheme of her career, that family-centered support story might not be as publicly discussed as her roles in beloved films, but it remains a fundamental piece of the puzzle, explaining why she was able to pivot so seamlessly from one branch of the performing arts to another. While Andrew continued dancing and remained deeply entrenched in ballet, Lea capitalized on her talent, versatility, and determination in a brand new arena. Eventually, the stage gave way to movie sets, bringing her into commercials, and ultimately, major motion pictures, including the Burger King spots that introduced her to a wider audience, and then the memorable roles that have etched her name into pop culture history. Thus, her journey comes full circle when we acknowledge how a strong family background in Minnesota, one that emphasized both discipline and creative freedom, served as the bedrock upon which she built a long and successful career. Even with the private nature of her parents' personal details, we can infer that they were more concerned with enabling their children to reach their greatest potential than with claiming any part of the spotlight for themselves. This encouragement, combined with Lea's own determination, helped her break away from the constraints of ballet's strict ideals and allowed her to become the dynamic actress the public knows today. And in the end, that choice not to remain bound by a single path underscores the remarkable power of a supportive home environment, which nurtured both siblings' passion for performance, while letting them each find their own unique niche within the arts. Career. Lea Thompson's career overview paints a vibrant picture of an actress who has gracefully navigated film, television, and even interactive media. She began by portraying Cecily "Sissy" Loper in the 1982 video game mystery disc, Murder, Anyone?, then surged onto the big screen with her 1983 film debut in Jaws 3D. What stands out here is Thompson's knack for taking bold risks early on, most notably, admitting she had overstated her water skiing skills to land her Jaws 3D role. From there, she quickly moved on to star in All the Right Moves, Red Dawn, and The Wild Life, showcasing an ability to tackle diverse stories ranging from sports drama to Cold War tensions. However, the most iconic segment of her career arrived with Back to the Future in 1985, where her portrayal of Lorraine Baines McFly became an instant pop culture touchstone. The humor and oddity of Lorraine unknowingly flirting with her time-traveling son, played by Michael J. Fox, remains one of the franchise's best-remembered comedic hooks. The paragraph then details how Thompson sustained momentum throughout the mid to late 80s with roles like Space Camp and the cult classic Howard the Duck, proving she was unafraid of quirkier genres, even recording vocals for the latter's soundtrack as Beverly Switzler. Her trajectory continued upward into the 1990s with performances in Dennis the Menace, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Little Rascals, and various television films such as The Substitute Wife and The Right to Remain Silent. Caroline in the City, 1995 to 1999, marks a prime example of her adaptability, shifting from big-screen adventures to anchoring a successful sitcom, for which she won a People's Choice Award in 1996. Afterward came a brief break, interspersed with Broadway productions and television roles, before she led the short-lived For the People and starred in Stealing Christmas alongside Tony Danza and Betty White. A standout aspect of Thompson's career is her willingness to dive into multiple formats: Hallmark mystery movies, series like Ed and Law and Order, SVU, and even reality television via a short stint on Celebrity Duets. Later, she continued adding eclectic movie credits such as Exit Speed and Spy School, eventually returning to seasonal TV hits with The Christmas Claus. The paragraph also highlights a mother-daughter collaboration in the video game mystery case Files, Shadow Lake, reflecting Thompson's ongoing curiosity about interactive storytelling. Between 2011 and 2017, Switched at Birth provided her a platform to demonstrate deeper dramatic skills as Catherine Kenish, a mother coping with the emotional complexity of a hospital mix-up. Her 2014 appearance on Dancing with the Stars hints at her dance roots, though we know from her earlier ballet background that movement and performance had been integral to her artistry since childhood. Meanwhile, finishing sixth in the competition underscores her commitment to physical challenges. That same year, she portrayed Irene Steele in Left Behind, underscoring her continued interest in projects that blend drama with high stakes. Award recognition and critical acclaim. Lea Thompson's evolution in the mid to late 1990s offers a fascinating look at how an actor can redefine themselves when the industry, and perhaps even the audience, might expect them to remain locked into a certain mold. Early on, she was widely recognized for her vibrant, youthful energy in 1980s classics like Back to the Future, captivating viewers as the affable girl next door or the protagonist in lighthearted teen romances. Yet by the latter half of the 90s, Thompson was no longer content to rest on her earlier success. She demonstrated that her talent ran far deeper than comedic timing or wholesome charm, beginning with her Emmy-nominated turn in A Lesson Before Dying, 1999. This role threw her into dramatic waters far removed from her earlier persona. The character demanded a heavy emotional quotient, compelling Thompson to tap into a different performance style, one that would quiet any remaining skeptics who believed she could excel only in comedic or adolescent roles. It was a significant pivot, especially for viewers who had grown comfortable associating her name with light, entertaining fare. Here, she portrayed a woman facing weighty moral and psychological challenges, requiring the kind of grit that can only be conveyed through disciplined craft. The praise she received was evidence that her range extended well beyond charming smiles and sweet dispositions, proving she could carry a role laden with pathos and emotional intensity. Around this same period, Thompson's involvement in two critically acclaimed feature films underscored her capacity for tackling ambitious projects helmed by top-tier filmmakers. The first was Good Will Hunting, 1997, a movie that stormed the Academy Awards and became known for bringing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's screenwriting prowess into the spotlight. While Thompson herself did not take home any trophies, her presence in such an award-winning ensemble showed she could integrate seamlessly into a high-caliber cast without missing a beat. The production placed her alongside major Hollywood talents who specialized in rich, character-driven storytelling, an environment that left little room for superficial performances. Yet Thompson more than held her own, blending in so well that the audience accepted her as part of a narrative that revolved around profound themes of genius, trauma, and redemption. If any fans at the time still saw Thompson strictly through the lens of her earlier work, Good Will Hunting served as a statement that she could navigate thoughtful, contemplative material just as adeptly as she once embodied peppy, vivacious teen figures. The subsequent project, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown, 1998, revealed an even bolder side of Thompson's growing artistry. Tarantino is known for weaving sharp dialogue, morally ambiguous characters, and an edgy cinematic style into his films, traits that can trip up actors unaccustomed to the demands of such an environment. Yet Thompson turned any of those potential pitfalls into stepping stones. The film earned her another Oscar nomination, a testament to her ability to immerse herself in Tarantino's signature brand of witty, tension-laden storytelling. She grasped the layered moral struggles and comedic undertones that define Tarantino's work, slotting in effortlessly alongside a cast of formidable personalities. Where some might have been overshadowed, Thompson found space to make her character stand out, simultaneously paying respect to Tarantino's method of narrative while giving it her own unique spin. The transformation from a quintessential 1980s icon to a performer adept at Tarantino-esque tension and banter was striking, offering an unassailable argument against any notion that she was a mere teen movie relic. While she was garnering applause and nominations in big-screen arenas, Thompson also sustained a formidable television presence, ensuring that her profile remained diverse and consistently visible. On Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Thompson stepped back into a vaguely superhero-adjacent setting by playing Lucy Lane. This role, though less epic in scale compared to her film work, offered a lighter environment in which to exercise her comedic chops and playfulness. It contrasted with the gravity of her then-recent dramatic roles, reinforcing to networks and audiences that she remained flexible, unafraid to shift gears between drastically different tones. Concurrently, guest spots on programs like Seinfeld, Friends, Frasier, and Caroline in the City allowed her to reach primetime audiences in entirely new contexts, typically with only a few minutes of screen time to make a memorable impression. That Thompson often succeeded in standing out, despite these brief appearances, speaks to her adaptability. She could share the spotlight with ensemble casts composed of beloved sitcom actors or established dramatic heavyweights, and still leave viewers wanting more. Such consistent exposure was vital for an actor transitioning away from her 80s identity, because it introduced her to people who may never have seen her earlier work or recognized her primarily from a few famous film roles. In tandem with her high-profile television work, Thompson's willingness to tackle smaller-scale projects, bit parts, and cameos underlines a continuous hunger for growth. While major productions can bring prestige, smaller films and TV movies often let actors experiment more freely. They can step away from studio pressures or big-budget expectations, focusing on subtle character work, unusual story structures, and more intimate settings. Thompson seems to have embraced these opportunities precisely because they demanded a different kind of commitment. In such roles, she could test out new emotional registers or comedic nuances, honing her craft in corners of Hollywood that might not receive mainstream acclaim but still sharpen an actor's toolkit. This comprehensive approach to role selection, balancing both the big and the small, arguably fortified her performances in marquee projects, ensuring she never became complacent within any single niche. By the close of the 1990s, it was evident that Lea Thompson had redefined both her trajectory and public perception. She was no longer simply the effervescent teen lead or the unforgettable face from a singular franchise. Thanks to recognition from Emmy and Oscar bodies, she'd proven she possessed layers of dramatic power. Through regular appearances on popular television programs, she expanded her audience reach and honed her comedic timing in front of millions of weekly viewers. Meanwhile, the hidden gem of her career progression lay in those lesser-known projects that allowed her to stretch as a performer and gather insights she'd later channel into her bigger-budget, higher-profile roles. Together, these moves from a narrative of an artist who refused to be typecast or limited by the success she achieved as a youthful star in the 1980s. Instead, she made strategic choices, balancing mainstream prominence, critical acclaim, and personal development, that demonstrated her longevity and ambition in a notoriously fickle industry. Moreover, Thompson's adaptability became the hallmark of her evolution, as she navigated from family-friendly comedic territory to the darker, more layered worlds of A Lesson Before Dying and Jackie Brown. Each success, be it on film or TV, contributed to an overall momentum that has kept her relevant and respected. Many performers find it challenging to outgrow their initial image, yet Thompson showed that embracing small projects can be just as valuable as chasing the next blockbuster or major series regular role. By the end of the 90s, it was clear that her story wasn't one of a simple post-teen star slump or a comedic actress pigeonholed in breezy entertainment. Rather, her career was, and remains, about consistent reinvention, unafraid to experiment with new media, new genres, or new narrative complexities. Scandals and Rumors: a closer look at a rare rumor surrounding Lea Thompson, an alleged off-screen romance with her Some Kind of Wonderful co-star Eric Stoltz, that never quite became the tabloid sensation one might expect. Lea Thompson's evolution in the mid to late 1990s offers a fascinating look at how an actor can redefine themselves when the industry, and perhaps even the audience, might expect them to remain locked into a certain mold. Hollywood has always thrived on gossip, with every on-screen romance sparking speculation about potential off-screen chemistry. In the case of Lea Thompson and Eric Stoltz, their work together in Some Kind of Wonderful, 1987, led to whispers of a real-life connection. Yet, unlike many celebrity rumors that explode into full-blown tabloid drama, this one remained little more than a quiet curiosity, a testament to Thompson's ability to keep her private life. At the heart of this speculation was the undeniable on-screen chemistry between Thompson and Stoltz. Some Kind of Wonderful was deeply influenced by John Hughes's signature storytelling, packed with emotional depth, teenage longing, and relatable characters. Thompson's portrayal of Amanda Jones, a popular yet vulnerable high school girl caught between social expectations and genuine feelings, was one of the film's highlights. Opposite her, Stoltz played Keith Nelson, the introspective, artistic outsider who falls for her. Their performances were so natural and emotionally charged that audiences couldn't help but wonder, was there something more happening behind the scenes? After all, Hughes had a way of crafting stories that felt incredibly authentic, making it easy for fans to blur the line between fiction and reality. Yet, despite the buzz, neither Thompson nor Stoltz ever confirmed, or even entertained, the idea of a real-life romance. At a time when celebrity gossip magazines were quick to capitalize on behind-the-scenes relationships, this lack of confirmation was surprising. While many actors of the era saw their personal lives splashed across front pages, Thompson and Stoltz kept any real-life dynamic between them strictly off the record. Unlike many Hollywood stars who found themselves at the center of media-fueled controversies, Thompson managed to walk the fine line between being a recognizable name and maintaining personal discretion. Even at the height of her fame, she avoided the pitfalls of sensationalized headlines, public breakups, or dramatic feuds, a rarity in an industry where personal lives often overshadow professional achievements. It wasn't just about avoiding gossip, it was about how she carried herself. Thompson's career choices and overall demeanor always reflected a strong sense of professionalism and focus on the craft rather than personal drama. This isn't to say she lacked a fun, charismatic presence, far from it. She had already solidified her standing in Back to the Future, where she flirted with a time-traveling version of her own son, and later continued proving her versatility in both comedies and serious dramas. The Stoltz rumor, if anything, was a compliment to her acting ability. She had such a gift for making romance feel authentic on screen that audiences believed it could be real. And yet, her personal life remained largely untouched by scandal, with little room for tabloid exaggeration or Hollywood gossip to take hold. Of course, part of why the rumor never escalated into something bigger was Eric Stoltz himself. Unlike some actors who might play into gossip for the sake of publicity, Stoltz also maintained a relatively private and low-key public image. He was known for being an intense, method-focused performer, and that intensity translated into his roles, making his on-screen connections feel even more genuine. But when it came to rumors about his romantic life, Stoltz followed a similar path to Thompson, avoiding unnecessary speculation and keeping things professional. Without either of them giving the press anything to latch onto, the rumor fizzled out before it could turn into a scandal. If there's one takeaway from this long-forgotten Hollywood rumor, it's this: great acting can make people believe anything. Thompson's performances were so convincing that audiences wanted to believe in a real-life connection. But unlike many of her peers, she never let rumors dictate her career. Instead, she built a body of work that has spanned generations, from 80s classics to modern directing projects, always staying true to her craft and avoiding the distractions of fleeting gossip. So, while some actors are remembered as much for their scandals as for their work, Lea Thompson stands apart, a true professional whose legacy is built on talent, not tabloid headlines. Marriage and divorce. When Lea Thompson and Michael J. Fox first crossed paths on the set of Back to the Future, it seemed like a match made in Hollywood heaven. Two rising stars, both brimming with talent and charisma, found themselves drawn into a romance that captured the hearts of fans. Their relationship wasn't just a fleeting on-set fling, it blossomed into a full-fledged love story, leading to marriage and the birth of two children, Claudia and Sam. For a while, their union represented the ideal Hollywood power couple of the 1980s and 1990s, two well-respected actors navigating the industry together. But behind the glitz and glamour, the challenges of fame, demanding schedules, and the constant scrutiny of the public eye created an undeniable strain. Like so many celebrity marriages before them, theirs faced pressures that no red carpet appearance could conceal. By 1998, their love story took a heartbreaking turn: divorce. This marked a major transition for Thompson, both personally and professionally. While the split may have been painful, it also served as a catalyst for personal growth. Rather than allowing the end of her marriage to define her, she shifted her focus toward two key pillars of her life: her children and her career. For those who have followed Lea Thompson's journey, this ability to adapt and evolve isn't surprising. Long before she was a Hollywood star, she faced a pivotal career shift, transitioning from a promising ballet dancer to an actress. This transformation required immense discipline, dedication, and the willingness to embrace the unknown. In a way, her post-divorce chapter mirrored that same spirit of reinvention. Rather than retreating from the industry, Thompson pushed forward with her acting career, taking on diverse roles across television and film. Her ability to balance personal struggles with professional ambition became a defining trait. At the same time, she remained a devoted mother, ensuring that Claudia and Sam had stability despite the changes in their family dynamic. Lea Thompson's story isn't just about marriage and divorce, it's about resilience, transformation, and independence. Other relationships. After her high-profile divorce, you might have expected Lea Thompson to re-enter the Hollywood dating scene with the same intensity that some celebrities do, making headlines, stepping out with new partners, or stirring up speculation in the tabloids. But that's not what happened. Instead, she took a deliberate step back, choosing to keep her personal life intensely private. This decision wasn't just a reaction to the end of her marriage, it was a reflection of who she has always been. Unlike many of her contemporaries who frequently made news for their relationships, Thompson has never been one to chase media attention for anything other than her work. Her approach to fame has been measured, thoughtful, and professional. She lets her talent speak for itself. In Hollywood, silence on personal matters often invites speculation. The absence of headlines can sometimes be just as intriguing as a scandalous breakup. Yet, despite her relatively low-key personal life, Thompson has managed to remain a well-respected figure in the entertainment industry. Instead of being remembered for drama, she's known for her contributions to film and television, whether it's her starring roles in classics like Back to the Future or her later ventures into directing and producing. It's not that she hasn't had relationships since her divorce, but the fact that we don't hear about them is the point. She has intentionally shielded that part of her life, and in doing so, she's maintained a reputation that is both respected and admired. Actors often walk a fine line between personal privacy and public curiosity. Some embrace the attention, turning their love lives into a spectacle, while others struggle to keep certain aspects hidden. Lea Thompson, however, has found a rare balance. Her life isn't dictated by Hollywood's obsession with romance and breakups. Instead, it revolves around her work, her family, and her personal values. At a time when social media and paparazzi culture thrive on constant updates about celebrities' personal lives, Thompson's choice to remain private is almost old-fashioned, but in the best way possible. It shows a level of control, self-respect, and professionalism that many admire. Recent roles and future projects over the years, Lea Thompson has never shied away from reinvention. From her early days as a teen icon in Back to the Future to her success in television and directing, she has continuously evolved, proving that longevity in Hollywood isn't just about luck, it's about versatility and fearless exploration. Now, Thompson is once again making waves in the superhero world, but this time, she's embracing the dark side. Stepping into the shoes of an antagonist, she describes her latest role as badass and full of superpowers, signaling a fresh and exciting direction in her career. For fans who have followed Thompson's journey, this return to comic-inspired storytelling feels like a full-circle moment. Many remember her as Lucy Lane from Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, where she played the younger sister of Lois Lane. However, back then, her character was far from a villain. She was part of the Superman universe but not deeply entangled in its superpowered conflicts. Now, the tables have turned. Thompson isn't just part of a superhero world, she's commanding attention as a villain, a role that demands a different kind of energy, depth, and complexity. The transition from the CW to Fox for this mid-season release is another interesting shift. It highlights the fluid nature of modern television. Networks are constantly evolving, adapting, and repositioning content to fit changing audience preferences. But one thing is clear, Thompson's presence in the project isn't just a minor addition, it's a major highlight, regardless of the network. While many actors stick to what they know, Thompson has actively expanded her influence in the industry. Beyond acting, she has stepped behind the camera to direct episodes of major series like Resident Alien and Star Trek, Picard. This natural evolution from performer to storyteller shows that her decades of on-set experience have given her a keen eye for crafting narratives. Directing is more than just a career pivot, it's a power move. It gives her control over stories, perspectives, and creative decisions, proving that she's not just someone who brings characters to life on screen, she's someone who can shape entire cinematic and television universes from behind the lens. Conclusion: Lea Thompson's legacy in the world of film and pop culture is undeniable. She transformed challenges into triumphs, leaving behind a timeless portfolio of roles that continue to inspire audiences around the globe. Although her life has been filled with ups and downs, her unwavering passion for performance remains her greatest strength. What's your favorite Lea Thompson moment? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the crazy life of Lea Thompson, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our next video featuring another iconic legend. Thank you for watching.